Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Coffee Shop Thursday. Man, it's cold out here, and right now I'm telling you, the wind chill is 17 degrees. Got to drink down that coffee. And just in case I don't have my gloves on right now, I may have to suddenly drop the phone. Yeah, literally drop the phone because my hands are freezing. But hey, let's talk about not something from scripture so much but from church history. I happen to notice on this coming Sunday, December 4th, we have a commemoration in our Lutheran ranks. It's for John of Damascus. And a lot of people are thinking, who's John of Damascus? Is that the Apostle John? No. John of Damascus lived in the late 7th century, early 8th century of our Common Era, AD. And he was very, very important in the Eastern Church. Meaning, at that time, the Christian church was basically split between Rome and Constantinople, all right, east and west. So in the Eastern Church, this guy, reading his biographies, and there are several of them, one of them is kind of fanciful and has some stories in it that kind of go, oh yeah, really, did that really happen? We'll talk about one of those stories. But he was brilliant. He knew his philosophy, he knew his math, he was a musician. In fact, there's a hymn that he wrote that we'll also talk about in just a minute. But it's the story behind his work in the church that really put him into the sphere of, in the Catholic Church, Roman Catholic Church, and also in the Eastern Orthodox Church. He's venerated as a saint, whereas in our Lutheran ranks, we commemorate him and appreciate what he did to really help pull the church back together and leave us with some wonderful stuff. What do I mean, leave us with some wonderful stuff? Well, okay, his monastery that he operated out of was located close to Jerusalem, about 18 miles away. But at that time, you have to remember, the Islamic faith was all over the place in that part of the world. That was a real hotbed. So the Christian church was kind of surrounded by a whole different religion that had Christianity, Judaism, and the Islamic faith. They all have their roots in the same place. They're all their origins, but they diverge and go out in three different directions eventually. But here they are, all found in one spot. But the Islamic faith was dominant, and one of the things that was very much in vogue at that time was to stamp out all kind of icons, any kind of artwork that was believed to be, well, worshiping icons, not worshiping God, but instead worshiping these statues and paintings and things like that. So not only was that taking place amongst the Islamic people, but also it was beginning to take place among the Christians as well. They said, you know what, they're kind of right. We shouldn't be worshiping these statues of the different saints or venerating the different things that we do, like a part of the cross and this, that, and the other. So a lot of that was it was called iconoclasm, in which a lot of things were being destroyed. Well, along comes John of Damascus, who says, stop it, folks. These things can lead us closer to God. It's not, it's wrong to worship the thing, but it's not wrong to worship what's behind that thing. And that thing is what draws us closer in a relationship to God. So he had some unbelievable theological works that helped preserve a lot of what we would have lost through the smashing of all these icons. Now, here's the story that's kind of crazy. It's a biography written about him that's very, very fanciful and has some crazy stories in it. And one of them is that one time someone had written a letter to the Byzantine emperor, that's in the east, eastern part of the Roman Empire, and had said, hey, there's a plot out against your life, and guess who's behind it? John of Damascus. And this was just all fake, but the emperor believed it, had John arrested and had his right hand cut off and hung up in public for everyone to see. Well, John, of course, he was a little sore after that, if you get what I mean, but he laid in front of a statue of Mary, and he prayed to Mary, well, to God through Mary, that his hand would be restored. And it was. And because it was, he had a silver hand made that reproduced his hand that had been cut off, and he attached it to that icon. And to this day, it still exists. All right? Okay, that's the story. Now, did that really happen? Well, we just don't know. But it still exists in a monastery in northeastern Greece. So it was shortly after his death, and we're not sure exactly of the year. It was either 749 or 753. We have two different dates. He died a natural death in his monastery, but it was shortly afterwards that another Council of Nicaea, the Second Council of Nicaea, was convened to discuss the whole issue of icons. And it's because of that we have so many very precious and beautiful icons that exist today that give us a little insight into the history of the Christian church. Now, one other thing, he was a prolific hymn writer, and we have a couple of those hymns even in our Lutheran Book of Worship. And here's the one that I'm going to just say a few words. The wind is blowing like crazy out here, so forgive me as I have to push the pages down. Come, you faithful, raise the strain of triumphant gladness. God has brought forth Israel into joy from sadness. Loose from Pharaoh's bitter yoke Jacob's sons and daughters. Led them with unmoistened foot through the Red Sea waters. Come, you faithful, raise the strain. Yep, that's one of the hymns that he wrote that we sing on Easter, during the Easter season, Easter Sunday. Beautiful hymn talking about the resurrection of Jesus and what that means for you and for me. John of Damascus, a brilliant scholar, a great theologian, and one who has saved for you and for me and for ages to come a lot of great Christian art. We commemorate him on Sunday, December the 4th. So, just a little church history to spice it all up in our lives. God's blessings be with you.